In the 3rd century, the Persian prophet Mani looked at the geopolitics of his era and concluded that exactly 4 great empires governed the earth. The first was Rome, the undisputed heavyweight of the Mediterranean. The second was his own homeland, Sasanian Persia, the mighty eastern rival to the Caesars. The third was the Han Dynasty in China, anchoring the far reaches of the Silk Road. The fourth power he listed is almost entirely missing from modern history textbooks. It was the Kingdom of Axum, situated in the Horn of Africa. Axum operated as the supreme gatekeeper of ancient global logistics, a state that commanded the deep respect and often the fear of both Rome and Persia. Looking at this map of the ancient world, you can see why Axum was positioned for immense wealth. The Horn of Africa forms a natural land bridge, creating a narrow bottleneck between the Mediterranean basin and the vast Indian Ocean. If a Roman merchant wanted Indian spices or a Persian trader wanted African ivory, their ships had to pass through the port of Adulis. This harbor functioned as the ancient world's ultimate toll booth, controlled entirely by Axumite forces. Beyond taxing passing ships, Axum controlled a massive internal supply chain, flooding the market with domestic exports like ivory, gold, high-grade frankincense, and exotic animals bound for Roman arenas. By monopolizing this single geographic choke point, the Axumite kings accumulated a centralized treasury that rivaled the Roman economy. In antiquity, holding geographic territory was insufficient to secure global dominance. A true superpower required a universally trusted fiat currency. Axum solved this by independently minting regulated gold, silver, and bronze coins for international trade. Looking closely at the outer edge of this gold coin, you will see the inscriptions are not a local dialect. They're pressed in Greek, the language of ancient maritime commerce. Issuing Greek-inscribed gold sent a clear signal to the Mediterranean world. Axum was actively dictating the terms of global trade, operating far above the level of a kingdom passively supplying raw materials to larger empires. The physical scale of this wealth is still standing today. These stelae, massive monolithic obelisks carved from single pieces of granite, were erected entirely without mortar, requiring an engineering corps and a centrally organized labor force that few other ancient states could muster. Axum's political evolution accelerated in the mid-4th century under King Ezana, who made the decision to convert himself and his entire empire to Christianity. At the time, Rome was transitioning toward a Christian identity, while Persia remained its Zoroastrian rival. By adopting the faith of the Caesars, Ezana secured a permanent diplomatic and ideological bridge to the Byzantine world, isolating Persia from the Red Sea trade. To unify this newly Christianized state, Ezana formalized the use of the Ge'ez script, codifying a unique written language for his administration. Ezana synthesized these engineering feats, a bespoke alphabet, and religious unity to cement Axum's status as a distinct, sovereign authority that could look Rome in the eye. 2 centuries later, under King Kaleb, Axum reached its zenith as a global military enforcer. On this map, Kaleb's naval invasion force crosses the Red Sea, striking Himyar in Yemen. Expanding the view reveals the true stakes, a proxy war, with Rome relying on Axum's invasion to dismantle Persian influence over Arabian trade routes. While Rome struggled to defend its European borders, Kaleb projected power across an entire sea, deploying a professional army and a massive transport fleet that made Axum the sole guarantor of Christian interests in the East. Superpowers rarely fall to outside conquerors alone. They decay from systemic internal failure. Centuries of intense agriculture to feed a booming population, combined with deforestation to fuel their foundries, led to severe soil erosion across the Axumite highlands. Then came the external blow. In the 7th century, the rapid expansion of the Islamic caliphates began monopolizing global trade networks, bypassing the Red Sea entirely. This shift starved the port of Adulis of its customs revenue. The state collapsed inward under the financial strain, a vulnerability exploited by internal rebellions and devastating raids led by the legendary Queen Gudit. The remnants of the Axumite elite abandoned the coast, retreating high into the isolated, defensible Ethiopian mountains. Here they evolved into the Zagwe dynasty, carving incredible monolithic churches straight down into the bedrock at Lalibela. The fact that Axum is largely missing from our modern understanding of antiquity is a chilling reminder. An empire's legacy is only as secure as the supply chains and ecosystems that sustain it. Even a peer of Rome can vanish when the world decides to rout around it.